Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're Screwed. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr. With me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash, and Andy Andrews. How are you guys doing?
What up? Doing good. Better than last week.
Yeah, no shit,
How you
man.
doing, guys?
We didn't have a show last week because me and Andy were both underneath the weather, man. We had some kind of stomach shit going on. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the world and all kinds of craziness happening, so I'm glad we're back. So I guess I'll start this one off. Kamala Harris picked her vice president, Tim Walz. Interesting pick. It was between either him or Josh Shapiro. And a lot of people said she should have picked Josh Shapiro because he was the governor of Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is a must-win for Kamala if she wants any chance of even getting close to the fucking presidency. But unfortunately, she couldn't pick Josh Shapiro because old Joshy boy is a Jew. And we all know them Democrats do not like the Jews. It's kind of funny. They keep calling us Nazis, but they want to exterminate the Jews. They hate them, right? Makes a lot of fucking sense. But anyway, that's why they couldn't pick Josh Shapiro, because he was a Jew and he supports Israel. And the Democrats hate the Jews and they hate Israel. So instead, they chose Tim Walz, who is the governor of Minnesota. He also hates the Jews, and he supports the Palestinians. He supports Hamas. He supports all that shit. He supports open borders. A lot of you might remember he was the governor of Minnesota during all the riots that happened. His first lady famously said that during the riots, she left the windows open. That way she could hear the screams and smell the smoke because it made her happy. So that's the kind of nut job we're dealing with. This guy is a socialist, not just because I say so, because he said so. Everybody's probably seen that clip, and if you haven't, I'm sure you'll see it here real soon, of him saying that one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. So he's a big fan of socialism. He's a big fan of open borders. He fully supports what Biden and Kamala have done to the border and wants everybody just to be able to come on in. So yeah, he's a left-wing nut job. He's a full-on socialist, absolute piece of garbage. So he kind of fits right in with Kamala. But I think it's interesting that she chose him instead of Shapiro, because that's not going to play well with independents. I mean, there's no way that independents are going to look at this guy and say, "Oh yeah, that makes it better for me. I definitely want to vote for Kamala now." What I was missing on the ticket, like I was worried about the economy, right? I was worried about my job. I was worried about, getting ready to go to war, all that kind of stuff. So, what I was waiting for was her to pick a socialist that let his own cities burn during the riots, closed down his entire state and laid off a shit ton of people during the pandemic, and pretty much wants open immigration. Everybody just to be able to come on in. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. It's absolute insanity. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. And it's hilarious because Trump sent out a truth. He's on Truth Social, so when he tweets or posts, it's called a truth. But he put up a post when he found out about the pick, and it just said, "Thank you." And that pretty much says it all from a Republican standpoint. Thank you. You picked the dumbest fucking choice you could possibly pick. And that doesn't surprise me with Kamala. I mean, it was her first big decision that she could make all by herself. And what did she do? She fucked it up, just like we knew she would, because she's a moron. This woman is stupid. I don't understand how anybody supports her at all. It is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I mean, she just gave an interview not too long ago when she was standing on the tarmac with Biden. And she just rambled on for like 30 seconds. And it was like, you ever watch somebody in school give a book report on a book they didn't read? Like, say that the book is like The Grapes of Wrath or something, and they'll be like, The Grapes of Wrath was an interesting book. It's about grapes and about the wrath that you get when you have grapes, and just completely bullshitting their way through it because they have no fucking idea what they're talking about because they didn't read the book. They're not prepared. They don't know the fucking material, right? This was Kamala on the tarmac talking about the power of negotiation and all this kind of stuff, right?
You sound like you know about them book reports like that.
I saw so many of those in school, dude. I never did it myself because I was always overly prepared. As I'm sure everybody knows who watches Staring, I'm the most researched person on the planet, dude. I know more about useless shit than almost anybody in the world because I didn't have a whole lot of friends growing up. I was a nerd, a little genius nerd, and I spent most of my time in the library, honestly, until I became like a teenager and I got into music. And the reason I got into music was not really because I loved music all that much. I got into music because I saw that women liked music very, very much. And I just happened to like women very, very much at that age. And I was like, you know what? That's for me. I'm going to learn how to do that because, you know, that makes the women scream and throw their bras at you and shit. And that's a good time for everybody. But one person I would not want to throw their bra at me is fucking Kamala Harris. Although she probably would. She's kind of a, you know, a morally bankrupt lady. Let's put it that way. We all know how she got her start. We all know about old Willie Brown. We all know about Montel Williams. We all know all about all that stuff. There was a reason why they had the slogan Joe and the Hoe back when they were first running in 2020. But apparently she's not good at explaining things either. Now, I shared a video on my Facebook about her trying to explain the cloud. She was giving a speech talking about the cloud, which everybody knows what the cloud is. When you save something on the internet or on a computer or whatever, and it goes into like a digital server, which is the cloud, where it's stored on their end, not on your end. So you don't have to have it stored on your computer. You can just go onto their servers and get the information, right? Well, she seems to think that the cloud is actually above us. It's a magical place where all your data is stored, and it's right above your head, she said. It's right up there. You could almost reach up and touch it. And I'm sure she thinks that it's nice and fluffy like a cloud, probably tastes like cotton candy. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with, guys. And for those people that say I'm with her, I would just ask you, is that really what you want? Remember, we are on the cusp of AI becoming a real force in this world. So there's got to be a president that can handle that understands things, that isn't a moron, who doesn't think the cloud is above his head and made of cotton candy, okay? You're dealing with a potential war right now. Iran is getting ready to attack Israel any day. It's all over the damn news. They have literally said, we are getting ready to attack Israel any day because Israel took out one of the Hamas leaders in Iran. And so Iran's all pissed off and they want to attack Israel now. That's getting ready to happen. So we're going to be dealing with a massive war. So is that who you want in charge? You want Kamala and the Democrats in charge who hate the Jews and hate Israel. You want them in charge when Israel is attacked. What are the odds that we actually back Israel and we go to war with them and we help them like we're supposed to if the party that hates the Jews is in charge? You guys got to think about this stuff. You can't just say I'm with her because she's brat. Whatever the fuck. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I saw that on the internet the other day. They had a little picture and it said Kamala is brat. So what the fuck does that mean? She is a brat? Is that bad grammar or is that some youthful saying I'm not familiar with? If brat means moron, then I completely agree with that sentiment. If it doesn't mean moron, then I don't quite understand what you're trying to say. But I don't think somebody being brat is a good reason to cast your vote for president. Now, I think we need to re-examine voting in this country because we got a serious problem here. We got to be careful how we do this too because everybody's going to scream their heads off because this is going to sound crazy. But there's got to be some kind of test, guys. I mean, we got to have some kind of test on the issues and where the different candidates stand on the issues or something to make sure that the people casting their votes are actually informed. Because what you have is a bunch of fucking idiots that are voting. And it's just a popularity contest. And it's absolutely the dumbest fucking way you can ever choose a candidate and a leader of your country. It's insane. It makes no sense. I argue with these people all the time. They don't know anything. I mean, literally, they know nothing about nothing. You go through and you can even list all of the different stuff and you can prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. You can footnote it all. You can give them article after article after article that proves exactly what you're saying. You can show them video of the person saying exactly what you said that person said. And them dumb shits still don't listen. They're still like, I'm with her. It is absolute madness. And I don't understand how a civilized nation lets the dumbest people in it vote. I don't get that. You know, I don't think the voting should be based on race. I don't think the voting should be based on property or anything like that. I think it should be based on your knowledge of the actual issues where the candidates stand on the issues, right? If you're pro open border, as long as you know that the candidate you're voting for is pro open border, then cool, cast that vote. But if you don't even know where they stand, I mean, you've all seen those man on the street interviews they always do. These people can't even name the vice president. Like, I saw one where they were in the hood and they were talking to all these people that are trying to gauge the black vote, right? So they went to the inner city and they're stopping all these people on the street and they're asking them what they think of Kamala, if they would vote for Kamala. Like, 70% of them had no idea who the fuck Kamala was. No idea. The vice president of the United States, the person who's fucking running for president right now, who stole it away from Biden in a coup. Biggest thing in the news. And they have no idea who this person even is. No idea. 70%. And what's funny is you had maybe one person that actually said that they were going to vote for her, who knew who she was. And then everybody else was like Trump. You know, even a lot of people who didn't even know who Kamala was were for Trump. And that's making them nervous, is a lot of the inner city people are Trump, man. They want Trump because they're not stupid. See, that's the thing. You Democrats treat them like they're stupid. You say that they're not capable of getting an ID to vote. They're too dumb to figure it out. You say they're not capable of getting in college on their own. They're too dumb to figure it out. They got to have help. They got to have affirmative action. They got to have all this bullshit all the time. I see the horn. Give me 1 second. Let me finish my point. You say that she's stupid. You say that they're stupid, I mean. They're not stupid. They understand and they know that the economy and their lives were a lot better when Trump was in office than they are now. They're not retarded. They're not the ones sitting there saying, I'm with her, even though the country is burning down. Okay, and I know I'm way over time, so I'm going to stop and let whoever else wants to go.
I'll go. Fuck it. Good afternoon, night, whatever the fucking time it is where you're at. Europe fucking is probably in the afternoon. And up there in where they're at, it's 11. It's 8 o'clock here. Hawaii, I think it's 7. They're an hour behind us. Alaska, I think it's 2 hours, 5, maybe 6. I don't fucking know. All I'm going to say is who's ever going to vote Democrat and is going to vote Republican are going to vote. People like me are who they're going for right now. Andy, you could put your hand down. We got the point. But the people like me are who they're going for. And right now, both Fox is saying one thing and Trump's pulling away. On another poll that Andy said the same thing, and she's winning by 1%. I saw that she's losing. But the actual delegate race, she's losing by 9%. Now, I will say this. Both of them could have picked better VIPs. People are saying this now. And don't be surprised Trump changes his VIP in a month. Because you could say what you want. He's a dickhead. And I know that I'm talking about a lot of Republicans don't like this dude. I don't like this dude. And who she picked was an idiot too. Don't get me wrong. Even it was like you said, she should have picked the guy from Pennsylvania or the Budapest. A lot of people think she should have picked him. Budapest, I don't know his name. Sorry, I might be butchering it. But a lot of people said she should have picked him, and she didn't. She picked the socialist, like you said, who once said that he was for the Second Amendment and tried to change it, and it's on video. He fucked up Minnesota, and this is coming from, just so that people know, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent voter. And I was going to vote for Kennedy till the whole Cub thing came and he buried the dead Cub. I don't know if you read that shit. And he admitted he put a dead Cub one day in Central Park or something. I don't know. Dude, I'm done with him, dude. But he's going to be the reason whoever's going to lose, because they're saying that he's hurting Kamala more than he's hurting Trump, because he's still taking 6 or 7% of the vote. And he said if he was going to vote for anybody, he would vote for Trump. But he's still going to be in the race. But right now, you got to think of this, guys. For the last 4 years, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Inflation. I work at a bank. Inflation's fucked. We used to have a lot of people come in. It's not like it used to be. Places are going out of business. I do live in California when the minimum wage for restaurants is $20 an hour and their minimum wage $16.50 is going up to 18 and the restaurants are going to 21. That's why. A lot of it. But the economy sucks. I don't care what anybody says. Rent is out of control. They did make the new law that you can only raise up rent $55 a month a year now, and they are going to vote in for November. That's why I'm voting. But look at it this way. I understand there's a lot of people hate Donald Trump, and I get it, and I understand why. You think he's a crook, he's a criminal, he got prosecuted in New York. But think about this. The economy was better 4 years ago than it is now. And I'm not saying I don't know if I'm going to vote for anybody now, but it is true. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at what Trump's done or what she's done. For the last 4 years, she hasn't done shit. Almost 4 years, sorry. And it's been Biden bumbling and stumbling for 3 years, and she lied about that. She's lied about a lot of stuff, guys. Go look on video. Don't take it from what James is saying, because, of course, everybody say James is going watching Fox News all the time, of course. No, go look up stuff about Kamala. I'm from California. I know what she can do, especially what she used to throw people in jail for marijuana and laugh about it. That was fucking true. That really happened. And the candidate from Hawaii, that's what ended her campaign. Now she's going to play what Biden did 4 years ago and hide. But the Republicans are smart this time, and this is something they need to keep doing, is keep putting her out. She already turned down the debate with Fox because and Trump did the same thing. He got out of debate. They both don't want to go on different channels. Let's just be fair. He don't want to go on CNN, and she doesn't want to go on Fox. But he's going to end up doing it. I don't care what's going to happen. It's coming. And then the other idiot was saying that he wants to debate Trump's VP today. That's going to happen. They're going to try to hide. She can't really hide, though. Like James said, there's a lot of shit going on with Israel. North Korea is threatening to get into war with Russia. Because Israel's going to retaliate. They said they are, and we're going to probably shoot most of the shit that's going to come because they've been threatening it. We're already on the verge of World War III. I'm going to tell you right now, people need to start realizing, go see what's going on in the UK. I'm not going to get on what's going on because I've seen both videos, not just one side. Both, they're tearing and destroying each other. It's Spain, same shit. Venezuela, look what's going on there. You're seeing the future, what's coming here. Whoever wins the presidency, I hate to say it, one way or another, we're going to end up in a civil war, it looks like. And I'm not saying I'm glad about it. I'm actually sad about it. I'm sad that this is what it's come to. But history repeats itself. It happened in the 1800s with us. It was going to happen again. The only difference is us in Europe is we have the most guns in any country in the world. They say 450, 420 million guns. That's wrong. And I agree with the NRA on this. It's more to 700 to 800 million or more. And I believe that. There's people saying they only own, they're lying. There's people just not telling the truth what they own. I will tell you this, the average gun hunter, they said owns 7 guns. It's not. It's about 10. To 15. I'm just telling you, people are just not telling the truth. They said 49% population of the American to 52% own guns. It's more like 70%. They're not telling the truth. People are just not saying it because they're not allowed to have guns. The truth is, we're going to end up in a ball of shit balls coming soon. It's coming. It doesn't matter who wins. Trump wins, people are going to flip out. Trump loses, it's going to be, he got cheated again, and we're going to be out in the street. It's not going to be good because somebody tried to kill him, and then they found out about the guy from Iran was involved in trying to kill him from Pakistan. Oh, no, not Iran. He was helping Iran from Pakistan, and they found out he was in plot to kill Trump. That was today. I forgot to talk about that, to bring that up. But right now, it doesn't look good, whatever happens. And I'm not happy about it. Trust me. I'm sad. The world's going to hell. But you know what? It's been for about 10 years and people just haven't paid attention. what's been going on for 10 to 12 years. It's been going and brewing over. It hasn't just been this last couple years. It just wasn't happening here yet. Now it is. Nowhere in the world you're safe anymore. Just so you know that. Maybe if you're in fucking Alaska, but even then you got to worry about grizzlies biting your ass. But you know what? I'd rather deal with that than worrying about what's going to happen in the next couple years. That being said, I don't know. I've talked for about 8 or 9 minutes. I'll throw up to my colleague, Captain Ron. Go ahead, brother.
Hold on, man. I wanna ask you a few questions in a minute. But first, I want to clarify a couple things. One, Trump's not afraid to go to CNN. He already debated Biden on CNN. He just went to that black journalist thing where he just got attacked the entire time. So Trump's not scared of any of that bullshit. That's first. Second, Kennedy. I don't understand why you would stop supporting him if you supported him just because of that nonsense. I mean, a lady hit a bear with her car. He put it in the back of his trunk because he was going to eat the meat. He was going to use it. But it took him too long to get where he needed to go, and it got hot, and it got kind of gross, so he put it in the woods instead of taking it home. I don't understand what's the big deal. That's like a normal day. That's there's nothing wrong with that, dude. We've all done that. You know what I mean? At least you live in the South.
It's not just that. It's also the brainworm thing. Did you watch the documentary about him? That kind of changed my opinion too.
I don't even know what that is or if that's true or not, so you'll have to send me that later, and we'll have a future discussion on it. But I also want to ask you another question. You said you did not like J.D. Vance. That you can't stand him.
I don't like him.
Why?
You want to know? You want to know why? This is why. One, he didn't like Trump, and that's the truth. And I believe that Trump. This wasn't Trump's first pick, and it's true. It's coming out. They want somebody. They wanted at the time, and you got to realize when Trump was getting ready to take on Biden, he picked somebody that he needed at that time. My personal opinion is it's a different person now. He needs to, the problem I have with him, and like people said, the dude told people to vote for Biden 4 years ago. I'll show it to you. It's not just that. It's the point is, I think in this, he's going against somebody new now that he wasn't supposed to be. He thought he was going to be going. I don't understand why anybody didn't know. I knew they were going to pull this shit 6 months ago, and people are acting like they got caught off guard. But he picked somebody thinking he was going to run against Biden, Kamala Harris. Now, the main reason why what I think he needs to do is he needs to change up, because the person, I don't like this dude straight out. I don't care what you're going to say. It doesn't matter. The point is, what I'm saying is he's going against somebody different now who just picked a whole different VP. And my opinion is to throw shit off. That would like the Democrats just did. They threw the whole fucking election off in the last month. My personal thing is he needs to counter-react by getting him the fuck out, because he's made stupid comments in the past. And sorry, one thing is having millions of people on Facebook fucking texting. I'm sorry, I'm just ignoring it, guys. Sorry, I apologize. The point is, my personal opinion is, and he can do it, I think he needs to pick somebody else, because this is a different format he's going against now. He was going for a format running against Kamala as the vice president, not as the president now. This is a different choice now, and I think he needs to change it. And if he doesn't, fine, I don't give a fuck. But a lot of people don't want him running no more, bro. And I think, honestly, I think he does need to pick somebody. The person you originally wanted to be VP he's not your original pick. You want him to pick that, I forget her name. I know who you're talking about. The one you wanted him. A lot of people think he needs to just pick her instead, because she's going to go after both of them. And that's just my opinion. Now you could tell me something different, but you also have said that wasn't your pick either. You wanted, I don't know the girl's name. You know who I'm. It wasn't Nikki Haley. It's the other one. There's
actually two.
Yeah.
That I would rather have than him. Tulsi Gabbard, absolutely.
Yeah, Tulsi.
And Vivek Ramaswamy. I would love to have either one of those. But my point isn't that J.D. Vance is my first pick. My point is a bunch of nonsense has been said about him that just isn't true. Yes, he did talk shit about Trump. 100% he did. But don't you understand how brilliant of a pick that is then? Because what that shows everybody is that somebody can change their mind. They could be somebody that didn't like Trump, and then they can say, you know what? He proved himself. He did a good fucking job, so I'm going to change my mind on him. Megyn Kelly is another great example of that. I've heard her say multiple times on her show that she appreciates the J.D. Vance pick because it's exactly that. It shows that somebody like her, who famously went head-to-head with Trump in the debates and could not stand Trump. They had a major feud. And she's pro-Trump, 100% Trump now because she saw the job that the man did. You know what I mean? So it shows that people out there, it's okay to change your mind. If you weren't for Trump before, you can be for Trump now. And we'll all welcome you and love you and say, hey, come on in. Let's make this fucking country great again. Let's stop dicking around and hating each other. You know what I mean? It's a brilliant pick on that aspect. It's also a brilliant pick because whether you like it or not, this election is going to come down to the Rust Belt. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Those are the main states that are going to decide this election. Not as much Minnesota or Michigan because those are kind of definitely blue, but Wisconsin and Pennsylvania 100%. Okay, J.D. Vance is from Ohio. He's a hillbilly like us. He's like a good old boy. You know what I mean? At least that's how he started out. Yes, he went to Yale. Yes, he made something of himself, but why is that a bad thing? If you've ever read the book Hillbilly Elegy or watched the movie, you can see he didn't grow up rich. He grew up with a drug addict mother that he had to drag around and try to keep from dying. The fact that he made what he made out of himself is fucking inspirational. You know what I mean? I'm not a J.D. Vance fanboy. I think I would have much rather had Tulsi. I would have much rather had Vivek. And I'd still take him right now, 100% over J.D. if that was the choice. I wouldn't be mad about it. But what I'm saying is, I don't think J.D. is a bad choice at all. I think it's a brilliant choice, actually. And at least one good thing with him is on policy, he is in line with Trump on policy. And I know that after Trump is finished, if he gets elected, if he's the choice after that, that the MAGA movement is in good hands. You know what I mean? That's my main concern. Where somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who I love to death, if she was to be elected president, Tulsi's a little bit to the left of where Trump is and where I am. You know, I don't agree with Tulsi on all this stuff. I just adore Tulsi Gabbard. I love her attitude. I love the way she speaks. I love the fact that she's level-headed and is willing to change her mind about things when she's wrong. You know what I mean? And when new evidence comes in, she changes the way she thinks on things. I really like her, but I don't know if I'd want her as president because she doesn't feel the same way about every issue that I do. You know what I mean? And that's the calculus you got to make. Vivek, 100%. I'd support him all the way to the presidency because Vivek is even more extreme than Trump is. You know what I mean? He wants to tear down the whole damn government just about. He wants whole parts of the government gone. And I'm there too. That's what I want. You know, I think Department of Education should not exist anymore. Get rid of it. It doesn't fucking work. Turn that shit back over to the states where it belongs. The only thing that's happened since the Department of Education came into being was we've got dumber. And our place in the world has dropped on every list. So they've failed miserably. I think the FBI needs to be gutted, maybe even completely done away with. And something else needs to be done because they are crooked as shit. Absolutely crooked as shit. And now we're seeing the Secret Service, they need to be gutted as well because they're not doing the job. There's been so much stuff that's come out on the Secret Service, we might have to do a whole show just on that because they are failing in their job to protect people on a monumental scale. And this isn't just about Trump. This is about Biden. This is about Kamala. This is about everybody they protect. It's insane. They didn't even have drones. And one of the changes they said they were going to make is we're going to start using drones now. Every fucking 10-year-old in the world could have a drone if they wanted for $40. How the fuck do you got a $6 billion budget. How do you not have drones, you fucks? You're supposed to be the most elite protection agency in the world and you can't figure out how to make a little bitty drone go up in the air? Dude, they're fucked. But anyway, what I'm saying is J.D. Vance not such a bad pick. I'm going to shut up and let Andy have his turn at this one. Andy, go ahead, brother.
So I'll tell you what brat means. So Charlie XCX is a British pop star, female singer. and she has a song called Brat, and she said something about Kamala Harris is brat. So brat means a little messy at times, likes to party, and says dumb things every now and then. And the vice, and she took it on, and dipshit from Minnesota took it on. They took it like in stride, man, like proud of that. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? And that shows us, man, where this country is headed, man. You have it, you know, and that's the way the VP picks. Like, I agree. I think Vance, man, you know, I have seen Hillbilly Eulogy, and I think that, you know, what he went through and stuff like that is inspirational, but it shows a side of America that a lot of people want to turn their heads the other way from. And I think also that it was a smart move simply because of, you know, that he did say vote for Biden. He didn't like Trump. Didn't like, from my understanding, like, I guess the tweets and the way he, you know, he didn't say a whole lot that I've seen in the last couple weeks of things back then that he was talking about. Most of the time it was about how Trump stood up against people, like the way he handled it. But my thing is, we've never had anybody stand up and say what he does. And that's, you know, why so many people like Trump. But the biggest thing is that we now have a guy in there that changed his mind. He now sees, you know, that tells me that he's changed his mind because he has seen how our country was being ran. He was seeing how well we were doing. And now he sees the last 4 years and the disaster that it's been. So that tells me that Vance is for the American people. He's for this country. He's for the MAGA, to make America great again. And that's why I think it was a very smart pick. Just like you said, he leaves when Trump leaves after 4 years and advances the pick for the Republican Party. We do have an extended, you know, MAGA movement, if that's what you want to call it. But we are in the middle of seeing things unfold and at biblical, you know, in biblical ways. I mean, you can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? It's being talked about. It's, you know, all you have to do is pick it up and read about it, and you know probably almost what the next move is. You just can't take it word for word because it's different times now. So what something may have meant then, it's something that's going to be different now. It'll mean the same thing, but, you know, but yeah, we're about to see two countries clash that's been, you know, religiously fighting each other for how long now? You know, they say peace, but how many times were you picking up the, you know, cutting on the channel and see every few months where somebody bombed somebody? You know, either Iran bombed Iraq or Iraq bombed Iran. And I'm talking about like small bombs, pipe bombs, stuff like that. It was always some kind of an attack. So these guys really haven't stopped on each other, really ever. But what worries me when it comes to her being president is the fact that she's not, like you said, man, James, you just simply talking about a cloud, you know, the cloud drive. I mean, to not even know that, but she just seems like she reminds me of somebody that has smoked weed their whole life, man, and everything is funny. Like, you never see her, like, even when she gets talking about something serious, she still ends up kind of laughing and giggling about it and stuff like that. And the way they have dumbed down our younger generation, you know, there's many of them that are like that, unfortunately. You know, when you talk about serious shit, they want to laugh about it after a while or something like that. Just like I said here in Gettysburg, man. You know, these guys were out there yelling for Palestine and all that shit. And what's funny is that anybody that supported, you know, the gay community would be gutted over there, you know. And here the guy or one of the people that ran the Pride weekend at Gettysburg was moving. He was the head of this whole thing, getting these people. And I'm thinking, you dumbass, man. I mean, and so that's the thing, man. They've dumbed it down, but Kamala Harris is not prepared to take on this country. I don't think she understands economics. I don't think she understands anything when it comes to anything. To be honest with you, maybe she was all right way back in the day or something, but not that I've ever seen anything that's come back. But what scares me the most is how the United States, how this last 4 years that they have allowed the people that they have to come into this country. And I'm not against giving someone a better life or something like that. But the thing is, if they really think, what gets me with that Democratic Party, the Biden administration, the way Harris is they literally put right in front of our faces, you know, this is what we're fucking doing. And then they turn around and tell you, no, that's not what we're doing. And people believe the shit. You know what I'm saying? If they really think that it was just Hispanic people that came across that fucking border, man, they're dumb as shit, you know? And, you know, you got to almost look further into it. You could get in conspiracy theory, whatever you want. But I've never heard her name until after the fact that she had anything to do with it down there. But we have a lot of enemies, man, that came across that freaking border untouched, unlooked at, the whole 9 yards, that are somewhere in this country stationed up, ready for the word. And that's the way I feel about it. I mean, and if they want us to accept, oh no, we had it under control and we know where they're going and we know this. Well, why did you bust all these people? How simple would it have been, or how simple was it? Because they know that even people that was on the FBI wanted list, most wanted, jumped on buses, man, and they busted them, gave them a free fucking ride, man, to wherever, you know, the city that they needed to get to. And we're just doing that. And she is like standing there and you're talking to, you know, I seen a reporter ask her last week. She was walking and they stopped her and asked her, you know, what do you think about the severity of terrorists that could have come across the border? And she's like, hey, you know, laughing and stuff. And she was like, oh, I think we've got a great, how did she say it? Like, we're talking about the CIA and the FBI. We got a great CIA and we got a great FBI that they know everything. They know everything, you know, and she's laughing. It never made sense. Like, what do you mean they know everything? They probably do know everything and they're not going to do shit about it. You know, you might be right about that, but I'm telling you, man, the VP picked him, talking about, you know, the way he is, and he is definitely, man, scary to have as a VP. That's for sure. He's old, so I don't think they looked at him to be the next. I think they're just grabbing straws now, man. Like throwing in there whoever. She was all about him, talking all highly about him until polls came out, and even some of the Democratic Party was bitching about him. Now all of a sudden, you know, they made her pick him. You know what I'm saying? They forced me to do that. It's like she didn't have to say so anyway, man. And she is not the one. They are picking puppets, man, that are dumb or old. They are picking these people as puppets because the ones behind are pulling the strings. And it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't one of our other former presidents. And we already know how he was and all the bullshit that he did behind backs. And guy, man, is just, Trump had it right. Thank you. And the thing is, man, if it's a fair election, I have no reason to think outside of a decent win for Trump. Unless Kennedy shakes it up some, which we know he will. But I think that's going to hurt Harris. I don't think that's going to hurt Trump at all. But, yeah, they made a shitty pick for not only the president nominee, but also the vice president. But as you look at it, like I said, he's all about, he's as far as you could get, if not more, Democrat. And then you got her. So, she probably doesn't even know what the difference is between Democrat and Republican. And I truly believe that. I have not seen her hardly at all answer anything. And where did this insulin shit for only $35 come from? I've got a sister that pays a shit ton, or would be if she wasn't on Medicaid. And I've got a guy that works with me that takes insulin, and he's paying like $160 every shot, or every time that he goes to the pharmacy to pick it up. So where's this fucking $35 bullshit that they're saying happen? And it's like, we need shit to go back to the states. She's not going to be for that. They're pro big government. You have Trump, who's wanting the states. That's why Roe versus Wade happened. It's, they're using exactly the poster person for fucking nominee for president. You got a person of color, a woman, and uneducated. That's my opinion. But yeah, the brat thing, that's really what gets me, man, is that means a little messy at times, likes to party, and says dumb things now and then. Just the last two, man. Where has this fucking country went? Likes to party. And if you think about it, who was the one that ushered in having soul parties at the fucking White House and shit, The same one that probably still runs the country, but that's just where I'm at. Smooth talker. But anyhow, I'm going to kick it back over, and I need to do a little bit more research on their VP pick, because honestly, I haven't looked at him. I heard what you were saying about him.
Yeah, I'm gonna release on the channel a video that I'm working on now that has a bunch of information about this guy. And it's going to be, most of it's going to be him actually saying it in video clips. So you can really get a good look. Did you see, when we were getting ready to come on to do the show, I saw a report on the news that several people, more than a few, from the terror watch list were released into the country by the Biden-Harris administration. So what you were saying earlier about people coming in on the most wanted list and being taken, not just on the most wanted list, literally the terrorist watch list. We know that they've actually apprehended over 150 people from the terrorist watch list that have been sneaking into the country through this open border. Now that's the people they caught, not all the people that came through. Okay, so you know the number's probably double that, maybe triple, of people that got through that didn't get caught. But the news is saying that they have released information that there were people that were on the terror watch list that were apprehended that got released into our country. So just like what you were saying, they put them on a bus to whatever city they wanted to go to. They were on the terror watch list. And there's multiple reports about all of the military age Chinese men that came in without women, without children, just by themselves, military age, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them coming across the border. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't have an army inside of our own country now ready to attack us at the drop of a hat. And I guarantee you, when Trump wins this election, they're going to try to cheat like hell, like they always do, because that's all them bastards do is cheat, and we all know it. But when they cheat and it doesn't work, and when Trump wins, You mark my words. Write it down right now, everybody watching. This is a prediction. This is a prophecy for you. This is going to happen. You're going to see things in this country that make 2020's riots look like a picnic. Makes it look like you're having a tea party with your niece. There's going to be whole cities being burned down. There's going to be terror attacks. There's going to be people killed in the streets. It is going to be insanity going on because these people are not going to give up power. They're going to do everything they can. You already have members of Congress saying, even if Trump wins the election, even if he wins in a landslide election, where there is no doubt that he 100% won, he is the choice of the American people. Even in that scenario, they will not certify the vote. They will not allow him to be president. They will say he's disqualified because of the insurrection clause, which has already been thrown out of court and proved to be absolutely fucking ridiculous. We all know it. But that's what they're going to do. And they're on record, Congress people saying that. On record. So that's what they're planning to do. They're not going to certify the vote. They're going to not allow him to be president. That's their plan. And they're going to use their troops and Antifa and BLM and all them jokers. They're going to riot. They're going to burn the fucking country down. They're going to attack and hurt people. You're going to have all kinds of chaos, way worse than it was in 2020. It's going to be absolutely insane. And that's what we got looking forward to. And everybody needs to understand this when you go and cast your vote, too. I'm not saying don't vote for Trump because you don't want the country to burn. That's the reason to vote for Trump. You can't let these fucking pricks keep doing this. You can't let them keep threatening us and abusing people and burning down the cities and all this bullshit. It's got to end. It's got to stop, because if it doesn't stop, we are going to end up in a fucking civil war. Old boy's right about that. Because good people are not going to stand by and watch this shit keep happening. We've had enough. It's got to be fixed. Now, I think probably the military is the only way. That's what's going to happen. I see Trump winning the election. I see them pulling that bullshit, trying not to certify it. I see them rioting and going absolutely ape shit in the streets. And then maybe we have martial law for a little while. Maybe the military takes over for a little while and cleans this bullshit up. That's the only way. You think the cops are going to be able to handle it? Think about that. What did the cops do in these liberal-ass cities and states in 2020 during the riots? Did they stop them? Or did they stand there and watch these Antifa and BLM pricks beat people over the head with bricks and shit? Did they do anything to help? Where were they when those leftist dipshits were chasing Kyle Rittenhouse down the street, trying to kill him? Where were they at? They weren't there to help. The cops aren't shit. They've proven that over and over and over again. Every single riot, they don't do a fucking thing. What are the cops doing over there in the UK right now? You've got armies of Muslims running around in the UK stabbing people, hitting them with hammers and shit in the streets. You wouldn't know that by looking at Facebook because they censor all that shit. Go to fucking X. It's all over X. You can see videos of it. You can see all these Muslim idiots running around hurting people. It's absolutely insane. And what are the cops doing? They're arresting little girls and old ladies, little white girls and little white old ladies. And they're letting the Muslims run around and beat people with weapons. The cops aren't going to help. So if you think the cops are going to clean this shit up once it starts, you're crazy. The military is the only way. The only way to avoid that is for the Democrats to stand down. But they won't. They won't because they're dirty as hell, and we all know it. And they know that if Trump gets back in there, they're going to have to pay the piper for all the bullshit they've been doing, all the laws they've been breaking, all the treason that's been happening. The bills due. Somebody got paid in bills. And that's what's going to happen. So they're not going to give up. They're going to fight to the death, man. And it's not going to be pretty.
My prediction of who's going to win. That's all I'm going to say, and then I'll go to what I'm going to do. I think Trump's going to win barely. But let's be fair. There's people threatening if Trump doesn't win, they're going to start a civil war too, and that's true. And it's like I said, both sides. Somebody's going to do something, whoever wins. But I think the House is going to go back to the Democrats. And I think they're saying that the Republicans have a 65% chance, and this was on CNN, to win the Senate back, and that's just my prediction. I believe we're going to take the Senate back, lose the House, but it's only because of what happened with the House Speaker bullshit. It has nothing to do with Trump, and I think Trump will win. I think the VIP that she picked was the best thing that happened for Trump. The guy from Minnesota has such a bad record, and they're even saying it. And 12 people just said no to Kamala Harris. That's true. The first guy that she really wanted from North Carolina, he said no. He actually wants to run for president. And don't be surprised he throws a ball in 2 weeks. I still think somebody's going to do that. I think somebody's going to still challenge her. But he ain't going to win. But it's going to be her. But
hold 1 second. I'll let you get right back to it. I want to share this really quick. I put a video up today on the channel, on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. Of course, you know that you're watching it. But I put a video up today with a Truth Social post from Trump. And I checked this myself. It is from Donald Trump saying that Joe Biden is going to challenge at the convention to try to get the nomination back because they did a coup on him. And he's pissed off because they forced him out. Blackmailed him out. Go to the channel, everybody watching, if you haven't seen it, and watch that video. It's not very long at all. I just read you the actual Truth Social post, but it's pretty phenomenal. He said, I can read it right now, actually. It says, what are the chances that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the U.S., whose presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him by Kamala, Barack Hussein Obama, crazy Nancy Pelosi, shifty Adam Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, and others on the lunatic left, crashes the Democrat National Convention and tries to take back the nomination, beginning with challenging me to another debate. He feels that he made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he hates the most, and he wants it back now. And now is like all caps with exclamation points and shit. That's what Trump put on Truth Social. Now, Trump does not just put shit up if he don't have some kind of information. You know what I mean? He wouldn't, in the middle of a campaign like this, he wouldn't put up something that insane if he didn't have some inside information saying that that's going to happen, or that Biden is talking about that happening or something. So all I'm saying is watch out for some fireworks. You may be absolutely 100% on the money on this one, but it might be Biden who is causing a stink at the convention, trying to get the nomination back that they stole from him, because that's the way he feels about it.
the only thing I'm going to say is what I think he's going to use, that he was sick on COVID and he didn't know what he was saying. And he's going to say, he's going to have somebody write that's why he kind of was not thinking right. And he's going to use that as his scapegoat to try to, but I don't know if it's going to work because they already gave her the delegates and she's got her VP. It benefits Trump, I think, if something happens. And I think the VIP was a mistake she picked, and a lot of people are saying that.